companies asserting patents over these virtual games. The reason I ask is I know that Second Life has been having an issue with things like, I think it was to do with copyrights or trademarks and things that appear inside the game. I don't really know what the fate of Second Life is. I think it's been pretty unhealthy recently with some people leaving it.
Well, I wouldn't. I try a lot of games that are on the Linux platform, and I've covered a lot of them on my sites, but I refuse outright to get into to even try Second Life.
Well, what's the reason?
Mainly because it's mono. What I would class as mono-taint, and it will not go on my computer now.
Is it on the server side or the desktop side as well?
I don't know, but what I do know is that it has what I class as a mono-taint, and I will not go near it. I won't say any more because I don't want to. I've always been a strong believer in people make up their own decisions as to whether they want to try something. I've made my opinions very clear and mono on the site, on my website before. If you want to play it and you enjoy it, great. I've got no problem with that at all. But for me, it won't be going near my system. And sorry, on a lighter note, we'll move back over to you, Roy. And
one thing I should mention, it's probably going to come as a bit of news to some people, if we manage to release this fast enough. I read some comments in Grocklaw today. We spent a couple of shows at least speaking about the Grocklaw, which I really appreciate. I think it's really instrumental in playing the battle on the patent front, on the legal front, on the patent front, copyright, whatever. We really need that site to stay intact, to expose documents as it has, to explain documents in legalese, to explain how to fight certain software patents, and to actually open up a forum to people who are lawyers of sorts and actually can advise us, even though they aren't technical people. They can get together with the geeks and to work with them together to give some advice to make some constructive progress. The thing that Pamela wrote in one of the comments seems to suggest that there might be another person continuing the site, and she has found a person who will be capable of carrying on with the torch and kind of leading together with the baton and kind of writing. I don't really think that if you change the person, the focus of the site changes, but I think that the ability of the person to be orientated and to be to find his or her way around the site is going to be equally good. Because what the person who wrote the site for the past almost 8 years now is Pamela. If she knows what she wrote in about 6,000 posts, another person taking over is going to kind of struggle to find things around and to even be consistent with the message. But at least the site is going to be put to some use. I think that's really important. I'm very relieved if that is true, if that's going to happen. I'm pretty much relieved by that. I think we need more sites. If any person listens to this show and he's doing something beneficial to the Free Software Foundation or to the Linux Foundation, Android, whatever, we need to start to get people to realize the situation with regards to software patents. There is an attempt to make them legal in Europe now, even though they do exist in Europe. We need to eradicate this issue before it spreads further. If it spreads to Europe, together with the United States, it could be pretty devastating because there isn't going to be sufficient opposition to keep these things away. And any person who develops software, it should be emphasized, any person who's a software developer is losing here. It's nothing to do with free software in many ways. It hurts all developers, even proprietary software developers. The main difference is that free software, the way it's distributed, is very different from proprietary software. And trying to pass software around, if you have things like patent royalties, is becoming extremely complicated. The ones benefiting from this type of what should we call it, sort of a status quo where you have patent trolls and you have the monopolies use that are the patent lawyers, and very often those who say, oh, we need you need more software patents, you need protection, and you need people defending your code, and they use words to protect, but what they actually mean is basically defend your monopoly or extend your monopoly. These people will try to tell you that it's good for you as a developer, but it isn't. You've got copyrights, and I really appreciate copyrights, even the fact that I write code that's GPL licensed. I need some kind of thing to say to people, well, you have responsibility to pass the changes if you distribute my code, at least so that I can improve based on what you've done with my code, and I really need the copyrights in that code to basically say, well, this code was written by me, and that's sufficient usually. If we have copyrights, that's sufficient. The lawyers want the patents because that's when things become a bit more complicated, more abstract, and they will be brought into court for rulings on issues that basically is your idea similar to this idea. And yeah, so.
Well, it's for those that listen to this recording, probably have the luxury of listening to us at a reasonable hour. Whilst we started this, I think, around about 11:30 in the evening, and it's now 12:23. So for me and Roy, it's getting quite late. But just a couple of other things I want to bring up very quickly, and I mentioned this a few shows ago. It was about the reinvented Commodore 64, basically a Commodore 64 shell with brand new spanky PC parts inside. Now, I don't know, Roy, if you can answer this, because it seems a bit ambiguous. Now, now, I was under the impression...
Fox News, in Scarecrows News.
I was under the impression for quite a few weeks that this thing was running Windows as its base or core operating system, and it was achieving Commodore 64 emulation, I presume, either via a hardware route or via maybe even just software. But now it appears, and I'm reading on another article on the thing where it's being reviewed, and it is actually running Linux. I don't know if you know.
Well, if you really insist, you could install Windows on it. You know, all those hobbyists who really like Windows, they could try to get things around and installing their Windows on it. But it comes with Linux, and that's good. And I think it uses Intel chips.
Do we know what Linux, what distro it's running, or is it a custom one specifically for the machine?
I read, and I didn't read it because I read Fox News, but because I was looking around, I did some searching around it, around news. I found an article from Fox News and Scarecrow. And that was just mentioning a Linux-based operating system, but I think they might use a TAS. Well, I imagine if they want to sell some quantities of these things, they could just create their own distros. I mean, they could just hire one developer to do that and to put some themes or to make it look like a non-Commodore.
And also, it hasn't been made clear. Maybe it's because I haven't delved deep enough into it, but like I said, I'm not sure whether the emulation is achieved via a hardware route or whether it's just software emulation. And if you know the answer, if you've seen anything on that, because that is not something that is...
It's an Intel chip, so I don't think it's got any hardware backward compatibility or any ability to run. I mean, how many bits was it working? What's the throughput of the pipe back then? Was it 16 bits?
It was 8 bit. The Commodore 64 was an 8 bit system.
I wonder if we can even issue these commands.
The reason why
you could probably emulate this.
I think why I'm looking at this a bit ambiguous is because many years ago, for those who are as old as me or even older, there was a PC that came out, and unfortunately, yes, it was a Windows-based PC that was part PC, part Sega Genesis. And the idea was, effectively, it was two machines in one. And you would plug your Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive cartridge in the front of the PC, and it would become a Sega Mega Drive, and then you flicked a switch, I believe, or you did something to it, and it was a PC, sort of like a transformer. And I didn't know if that was a similar type of system they had running on this, or whether it was just indeed. I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be just a software. It seemed a lot cheaper solution just to have a software emulator, because certainly the Commodore emulators on the Linux
maybe you
system.
have modes and chips. I'm just thinking that a 64-bit processors, they could actually streamline about 8 instructions at once. It's just crazy. I mean, every clock cycle you could issue 8 instructions if you know how to. And I think the chips might have a mode for, but no, do they?
But
they don't actually.
The other question I had was for like we were saying, the timing issues. If we're going to be looking at somebody playing the Commodore 64 title, you certainly don't want it harnessing the full power of your Intel chip. Otherwise, it'd be slightly unplayable, or at the very least, very, very difficult because it'd fly at warp factor 20. But the good news about this and why I'm interested so much, not so much for the Commodore 64, because during this era I was a Spectrum user. There was 3 main computers out at the time, 8-bit machine, Spectrum, Amstrad and Commodore. And I was a Spectrum user. I had a relative who worked for Clive Sinclair, and we had a Spectrum 48K, and I had the one before that as well, the ZX81. And so